Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Lords of the Night. With me, as always, is the Lord of Pain, Ranting Monkey,
Hey guys.
and the Lord of Pennies, Satsu 2 cents.
What up, Dow?
And I'm your host, Scribe, the Lord of Punishment. Hello, chat. Hello, everyone. Hope you're having a good Tuesday or a day after 3-day weekend for those of you that had yesterday off. Thanks to everyone who is punctual today in attending the stream. I'll get into my day in a moment, but Satsu Monkey, how are you? How are you, Satsu?
Pretty good. Not a lot happened today, but it wasn't nothing bad happened. So there you go.
All right. Monkey, how are you?
Okay. Nothing major to report.
You guys are so exciting. I don't know how you stand it.
Well, I do realize that I am just a bucket of enthusiasm usually, so it may come off as a shock.
Well, let's see. My day. Well, it was a complete and utter clusterfuck at work. For reasons completely out of my control, and so it was just one of those things where you had to sort of react as things happened and do your best to cope. The specifics are inconsequential. It wasn't fatal or anything. It was just a big mess. And all of us in our own individual ways at the office had to hunker down and pull our weight to get through it for at least today. And then we'll have to continue onward tomorrow. And it's just one of those things. What else? So I played my my Lovecraft story for my sister the other day. I said, "Hey, I did like," because she listens to a lot of podcasts. She listens to things like Serial and Lore and what was the other one? Sword and was it Sword and Scales or something? All these podcasts about like crime and murder mysteries and folklore and things like that. And so I played it for her, and she just sits there listening intently. And afterwards, she looks at me. She says, "Wow, you talk good." And I looked at her. I looked at her and I said, "Well, I know which one of us ended up in the deep end of the gene pool." And she said, "You should do voiceover stuff." And I'm like, "Well, I kind of do from time to time. That whole channel thing I run." And she's like, "Oh yeah, but I mean like for professional stuff." And I was like, "Well, all right, if the opportunity comes along." But anyway, so that was kind of funny. But other than that, that was my day. But now this is my day. So Monkey Dick, Jim Jones, movies, hit that like button. Oh, video games. I apologize. Old habits. Old habits sometimes die hard. You get that ingrained in your head. The video games thing is still a new addition in my mind. Video games. Hit that like button if you have not already, and at least 2/3 of you have not. So I'd appreciate it if you did. And share our stuff. I can't emphasize that enough, guys. The way YouTube has been and continues to soldier on, they will do practically nothing to get our material out there to the world now. Especially in the UK, which we'll talk about later, I'm sure.
The EU, yeah.
Or at least the EU, yeah. Which the UK is still technically a part of.
For a little bit longer.
For a little bit longer. So really, if whether it's us or any of the other creators or entertainers, anybody else on YouTube that you enjoy, retweeting, sharing, posting on Facebook, all that stuff is more important now than ever to help out the people that you appreciate. So, and
we appreciate you when you do it.
Yes, we do. One little click is all you need to do and helps out a lot sometimes.
Zenith, holy shit, dude, how you been,
Zenith? Man? What? Hey!
I haven't seen you in forever. I hope you've been well.
Zenith, are you secretly Rich Evans? I hope you are. I mean, if you're not, that's okay. But if you are, I'd be really happy. Not that I'd be less happy because it's you, but still, Rich Evans. Let's see. Other than all that, do we have anything else to? Oh, what's the? We need a pumpkin report.
Oh, she was very not happy a little while ago because she had to have a bath, and she does not like baths.
Oh no.
But the poor thing, I went upstairs this afternoon and I held her for a little while, and she was so tired, but she couldn't sleep because she really had to poop.
Oh.
And she was having trouble getting it out. And oh, the poor I felt so bad for her. It took her like half an hour to poop.
Oh no.
And then she got changed and went right to sleep because she was really tired.
Poor baby. Thank you, Johnny Hellcat. I do like this title. Yeah, we'll get into that later. I thought I was being very creative. And it's actually kind of a funny story, a very short story, but a funny story. We'll get to that. We'll get to that in the news actually, because I brought up a news article. Because unfortunately, the thing I'm referencing there in the title, it was a tweet, but now that tweet has been deleted, strangely enough. But we'll get there in a few. So with all that being said, let's see. You guys don't stream until Wednesday, right?
Right. This is our night off. You'll
That's
be
your night
streaming,
off.
right? Satsu, are you streaming tonight?
I don't know yet.
All right. Oh, and I should say, speaking of video games, before we get into it, unbeknownst to me, the Fallout 76 servers were on today. I thought they weren't on until tomorrow, but they were on today. And so for about half an hour before I set the stream up, I was running around just kind of not doing any missions and stuff. I'm saving those for when all of us could be together to do so. But I did explore a bit, and I happened upon an event where you have to go in and repair a nuclear power plant. And on the entire map, there was just me and one other guy. And he was running around. He was having a tough time. So I joined up with him, and he's like, "Hey, how's it going?" And we're talking to each other on voice chat or whatever. And I'm like, "Going good. How are you?" He's like, "I'm fighting zombies." Like, "I'll help you." Okay. And so we ran around and fought zombies and stuff. And while we're running around, he's going like, "Yeah, I played the other Fallouts, and I don't know. There's no NPCs in this thing. And I don't feel like I'm really affecting anything." And I was like, "Yeah, I think they're relying more on role play and people making up their own stories and starting their own battles and stuff." And he's like, "Yeah, I don't know if that's going to work." And I'm like, "Yeah, I don't know either, but I guess we'll find out." Okay. And so we repaired the power plant and got a whole bunch of XP and stuff. And I leveled up to 10, but I still don't have Gunsmith as one of my cards. I need Gunsmith, or else I can't make the badass guns. I'm getting there though. I got plenty of plans and schematics. I just need to get that next level. I hope they don't make me pay for it. Anyway, all that being said, let's move on to the wonderful world of Schnooze. And just as a brief, there's no story because nothing's really changed, so to speak, but the California wildfires are still going. The Woolsey fire, last I heard, I don't know if it's changed since then, last I heard has been 30% contained. However, the National Weather Service said there is no prediction of any precipitation anywhere near the fires, at least through Thanksgiving.
Damn.
So the conditions are not going to improve, but the firefighters keep on trucking. The death count now has gone up to 42. Which is just awful because as they contain the fire and they're able to explore more, they're finding more people on, especially in the town of Paradise, where's most of where this happened. Most of the damage and death toll has been found there. So still keeps on going, guys. I can only hope that things change or someone makes it rain or something. But anyway, that aside, we have some political news because the First Lady determines staffing decisions now, I guess, or something. National security aide headed for exit after clash with Melania Trump's office. I'm not quite sure what this is about. A feud with the First Lady's office is expected to cost a senior national security advisor her job after she sparred with East Wing staff. The East Wing is that TV show that didn't make it past the pilot. And other key members of the Trump administration. The dispute spilled into public view in extraordinary fashion on Tuesday when the First Lady's office released a statement calling for Deputy National Security Advisor Mira Rickardell Ricardo? I don't know. Ricardo's ouster as reports surfaced that President Donald Trump would fire the official. A White House official confirmed to CNN that Trump has told his people that Ricardo will be fired, but the official said she has been given some time to clear out her desk. It was not immediately clear when she would officially make her exit. Quote, it's the position of the office of the First Lady that she no longer deserves the honor of serving in this White House, the First Lady's communications director Stephanie Grisham said in a statement on Tuesday. The statement amounted to a stunning public rebuke by a First Lady of a senior official serving in her husband's administration. It came after reports surfaced earlier Tuesday indicating Ricardo would be pushed out of her post after less than 7 months on the job. I'm waiting to see if I can find something about why. It doesn't say. Okay. Oh, here it is. A White House official accused Ricardo of being dishonest about the feud and subsequently leaking stories to try and cover her behavior. Okay. Tensions have also been rising between Ricardo and Chief of Staff John Kelly and his deputy Zach Fuentes in recent weeks, according to people familiar with the matter. Kelly and Fuentes believe Ricardo was leaking negative stories about them to the press. Uh-oh. Well, if she was, there you go. Not much of a national security advisor if you're the one being the mole.
Right. And if that is what she's doing, I have no problem with them firing her for it.
Yeah. It's just kind of odd. Oh, sorry.
It's weird for the First Lady's office to come out and make a statement like that, though.
Right. That was the thing that struck me. I was like, why is the First Lady's office helping kick out a national security advisor? And what does the First Lady's office do?
Nothing.
Yeah.
They set up appointments for her to show up at.
You know, they should actually make a show called The East Wing and have like Aaron Spelling produce it, except I think he's dead now. But still, you know, that kind of thing. Make it like the real First Ladies of 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue or something. Well, let's see. Moving on from that, this is a story that's been out there a couple of days now, and I kept forgetting to bring it up, and I think a couple of people posted it on MSS News. But more details have emerged since it actually happened, so it's probably a more complete story now. Still awful. Suburban Chicago security guard was killed by police while doing his job, lawyer says. A suburban Chicago police officer responding to a shooting Sunday at a bar killed a security guard who was just doing his job. An officer from Midlothian, saying that correctly, Illinois, fatally shot Jamel Roberson, a 26-year-old security guard working at the bar. Law enforcement agencies responded to the shooting around 4 a.m. at Manny's Blue Room Lounge in Robbins, about 20 miles south of Chicago. 3 people and an alleged shooter were injured. Then, after Roberson had apprehended an alleged gunman, the Midlothian officers shot Roberson outside the bar, according to a federal lawsuit filed Monday that calls the fatal shooting excessive and unreasonable and says it violated Roberson's civil rights. Witnesses said security had asked several drunk men to leave the bar, and at least one person returned and opened fire. A bartender was among the victims. After that shooting, Roberson, quote, had somebody on the ground with his knee in the back, with his gun on the back like, don't move, Adam Harris, a witness, told WGN. The officer responding to the scene then fired at Roberson. Quote, we all yelled, he's security, he's security. And without giving any thought, they shot him, Harris told the station. His vest said security as well, and they shot him in the side. The Midlothian Police Department has asked the Illinois State Police Integrity Task Force to investigate, which is department policy for an officer-involved shooting, according to Midlothian Police Chief Daniel Delaney. The department did not initially identify Roberson as a security guard because it immediately relinquished the investigation to the state police and did not know his name or position at the time. Quote, what we have learned is Jamel Roberson was a brave man who was doing his best to end an active shooter situation at Manny's Blue Room, Delaney wrote on Facebook. The Midlothian Police Department is completely saddened by this tragic incident, and we give our heartfelt condolences to Jamel, who's dead, his family, and his friends. There are no words that can be expressed as to the sorrow his family is dealing with. The suspected gunman in the initial bar shooting is being treated at a local hospital and has not been charged. He should be. Anyway, so yeah, and of course this is sparking off another situation where it's like cops show up, they see a black man with a gun, and they shoot him dead. And in this instance, the cops completely fucked the whole thing. I mean,
indeed.
I mean, setting aside the whole like, oh, cops are out to kill black men. In this instance, what the fuck, guys? What the fuck?
It's the same thing with the Donald Trump fake news stuff. And I was telling people, like, you may say that Donald Trump is full of shit sometimes, that he doesn't deserve to like wave that flag. But when shit like this happens, when he spots fake news that's actually fake news, in this instance, a lot of people like to brush it off and act like it's not really an issue or something that people have to worry about. But shit like this keeps happening. And like people are going to be skeptical. People are going to be apprehensive, against the police, and narratives are going to form when they're saying, like, if you're black and doing anything, you're just a fucking target. And obviously it's not really that simple, and it's not that case for everybody everywhere, but this shit keeps happening. So
the fact that he was wearing his security uniform, he was supposed to be there, he had the real bad guy down. I just it just drives me nuts.
You can see how that can be discouraging for people.
So anyway, that's a thing that happened. So
fucking stupid.
I don't know. But anyway, I mean, there's more details on the guy and everything, and it's just tragic all around. And I hope there's a thorough investigation, and if that cop fired when he shouldn't have, I hope he loses his job. Shouldn't be shooting people without asking at least one question first. But anyway, in other news of a reactionary nature, a man flew Nazi and Confederate flags outside his home, and dozens of protesters showed up. That's one of those headlines that makes me think of the old joke, doctor, it hurts when I move my arm like this. Well, don't move your arm like that.
Fucking ignore him.
Yeah, I mean, that's the first thing, but let's see what happened. A flag bearing a swastika flying outside a house in a small Colorado community was taken down after dozens of residents showed up outside the home in protest. When a neighbor displayed a Nazi flag and a Confederate flag outside his home on Election Day, November 6th, residents of Fruita, Colorado, organized a peaceful protest calling for the homeowner to take down the flags. As long as it was peaceful. Okay, now I haven't missed any super chats that were like $2 or something, have I? Okay, just making sure, because some of those get away from you.
No, I'm watching.
Oh, okay. Protest organizer Joe Gibson said he hoped people expressed their anger and pain by protesting against the flags being put up. Quote, really, I just want a future where my kids can grow up without Nazis and hate on our streets, unquote. Well, first off, there are no Nazis anymore. Just so you know, they all kind of stopped after World War II. Anybody else saying otherwise is a poser. And Colorado, I don't know much about Colorado. I don't really think about Colorado as like a center for hate as much as maybe like in northern Idaho or something.
You know what you do? You walk your kid down the street and you go, look, kids, that's where an asshole lives. And you just keep going.
Yeah, because I'm quite sure that whoever that person is has been staying there for quite some time. And I don't think they had any accounts of people being, tossed in ovens and fucking literally murdered in the streets over there. He's just a fucking asshole.
Well, here's the other twist. But not everyone felt the same. The protest was met with another protest, with residents vouching for the family's right to fly the flag. Paul Delancey told the affiliate, I assume the news, the symbol was part of history, and that the family has a right to fly the flag at their home. Quote, I'm not even here to support flying the flag or not flying the flag, he said. I'm here to protect a family in defense of their right to fly the flag. Oh my God. No one has said why the flags were put up, but James Williams, who attended the protest, said both sides came to an understanding and the flags were eventually taken down. Quote, his friends stepped in to defend his right, but after having a peaceful dialogue, we all came to an agreement, Williams said. Even though he has the right to fly any flag, it's not okay to promote hate.
For fuck's sake, you have a super chat.
Those two notions contradict each other. Moving on. Thank you, Jenna P. Here's almost $2. Thank you, Jenna. Appreciate it.
Okay, you're going to set me off. All right. This is with the remember the story we talked about yesterday with the kids giving the Nazi salute.
Yes.
There was a part at the end of that article where the Auschwitz Museum said that before the rise of the Nazis, it was little things that just that made hate acceptable. Things like this are not necessarily showing hate, and one, if it was, it still is fucking business. But every time that you give in to somebody who says, okay, yes, it is your right to do this, but you still shouldn't do it, you're perpetuating this stupid shit. At this point, I'm almost to the point where you're like, you know what? Everybody should do it. Everybody should take and they should put a Confederate flag and tape it to a Nazi flag, and then what else can we do that's offensive? Just draw Muhammad right in the corner with a bomb on his head and fly it proud and tell everybody to go fuck themselves with their little hurt feelings over every goddamn thing. You guys took some idiot, some moron putting up 2 fucking flags and turned it into national news. Really? That's what your life is?
And what's so crazy is this harmless thing that literally is, has basically no consequences as long as people ignore it and not pay attention to it, has now been brought like front and center, and you are like striking fear in people like this is something you should be afraid of. So something that had no power at all, you're just like, yeah, it definitely does. This thing should be should scare you.
Look, there are fucking assholes out there. Who cares?
Yeah.
Stop giving them power, for fuck's sake.
But without the power, they wouldn't have a chance to complain and be victims.
I know.
It's
it
all
gives
necessary.
meaning to their pathetic little lives.
Thank you, Disturbing Zen. If you take an idiot serious, who is the idiot?
Thank you. Well played.
Yeah. The second guy talking there was right. It's like he has a right to fly the flag. You may not like it, but then I mean, I never really understood people getting all freaked out over. I mean, especially in this country and in this day and age. We're not talking about the dark ages where it's like it's a witch. But I've seen people get in fist fights over someone flying the wrong sports team's flag.
Sure.
It's just like grow the fuck up.
At least I understand that because the sports teams are still playing each other.
Well, that's true too.
Yeah. The last time a Confederate shot a Yankee in uniform, or the last time a Nazi gassed a Jew. Do you know how long it's been?
Well, you know what you do when you see something like that? What you do is when you're walking your son down the street or your kid or whatever, you point to those flags and say, "See, son, that man's celebrating failure."
There you go.
And you keep on walking.
Yes.
Keep on walking. Let's celebrate failure. Yeah, the Confederates, see how they kind of got their asses kicked. Oh yeah, the Nazis.
They did so well.
Yeah, the Nazis. Yeah. Well, they tried to invade Russia during the winter. What do you think that did to them? What a bunch of idiots. That's it. You want to celebrate failure? It says more about you than it does about anybody else. And if you're gonna get freaked out about it, it's like, how scary are the Nazis today? Not really, because they failed and they got murdered and they got executed and they're gone. And anybody else that's worshiping them or anything else is just a poser. Like, whatever.
And every time I've said this about the whole PC culture forever, it's always just good-natured people are you know what, maybe this isn't a fight worth having. Yes, it is. Because you're not standing up for that fucking flag. You're standing up for the ability to fly that flag.
Mm-hmm.
And people get that confused, and it's like, well, you don't want to be on the wrong side, do you? I don't see it as the wrong side. Well, free speech is free speech, you fucktards.
Yeah, and I have no problem with them flying the flag. I got no problem with somebody promoting or saying that they are adhering to a completely defunct way of living. People who call themselves like the new communists, new Marxists, or whatever. It's like, okay,
but that's fine.
Well, no, I mean that is fine. If they want to do that, that's fine. They want to celebrate something that has never worked. They want to make themselves attached to an idea that has been always a failure. Same difference as guys that want to fly the Nazi flag. And go ahead. All you're saying is that you're celebrating something that you either you revel in absolute abject failure, and or you're just declaring yourself a general asshole. One of the two or both. I mean, whatever.
Well, the minor point there was that if somebody put up the hammer and sickle on a nice red background, there wouldn't be any kind of protest. And if there was, it'd be like, well, come on, it's not like they're Nazis.
Yeah, Stalin didn't do anything wrong. What?
You don't know your fucking history.
Yeah, Stalin. No, they didn't do nothing. Nah, Stalin did. Wasn't it? Now, I am not. I don't watch the History Channel that often. Or sorry, the World War II channel. Wasn't Stalin responsible ultimately for more deaths than Hitler?
Depending on how you look at the numbers, for about 25 million people dying.
Right. Yeah, but of course it wasn't like a. I mean, it was organized, but it wasn't sort of like. Concentration camp ovens kind of organized.
They want to split hairs because part of it was starvation because
that's true.
Communism fails.
Yeah.
But they gloss over the fact that they killed a lot of people.
Yeah, they did.
They actually fucking killed them.
Yep, but they don't have the Russians didn't have as much mystique and style, I suppose, as the Nazis. So they're not nearly as
well. They used to in vilified. The 80s. We treated them just as bad.
I know. That's why I miss the commies so much. James Bond has no cool bad guys anymore.
Skeptalk says, the starving of the Ukrainian farmers.
Yeah, that's what it was.
I think what's really hilarious about this is. Based on their logic, they're saying you shouldn't put things up that are offensive, that are hateful, or that generally make people uncomfortable. So let's just say Hillary decides to rerun, and somebody has a Hillary fucking thing in their yard, and you're like, that's offensive to me. Like that is. I feel like that is actually damaging to my being. The fact that you have that in your yard, and the response would be, well, get over it, because this is something that
free speech.
I support.
No, same thing. See, son, that's someone who celebrates failure.
Right, exactly.
Prospero says the people who would protest the commie flag have jobs.
There you go.
Yes.
All right. Well, so again, not a very busy news day in the grand scheme of things outside of things we've already talked about. So I have this last story that is direct reference to the title of the stream because I find it hilarious. And I'm going to read what my response was to this guy momentarily. But so for those of you that don't know, the Lone Ranger was most recently portrayed by the actor Armie Hammer. And Negan, if you don't know who that is a character from The Walking Dead, played by Jeffrey Dean Morgan. That being said, Jeffrey Dean Morgan buries Armie Hammer for criticizing Stan Lee tributes. The Walking Dead star Jeffrey Dean Morgan brought the bat down on Armie Hammer after he criticized fans and celebrities for their methods of paying tribute to the late Stan Lee. Marvel Comics mastermind and co-creator of some of the most iconic characters in pop culture history, Lee passed away at the age of 95 on Monday. Since his passing, an outpouring of love for the creative genius has conquered social media, including a post from Morgan. Hammer, however, wasn't having it. Quote, this was his tweet that he has since deleted, I will note.
Before you do that, you do have a super chat.
Okay, thank you,
Before we get too far away from that.
Isn't the World War II channel anymore, Scribe? It is now the Aliens Storage and Pawn Shop channel. Oh, well, this is how often I watch the History Channel. I don't have cable, so what do I know? I used to call it just the World War II channel because like every special was about World War II. Secrets of World War II. Hitler's secret weapons, or whatever. Yeah. Actually, I mean, if you want the best World War II documentary type stuff, just find the old serials Victory at Sea. Those are great. Don't need nothing else. So here's what Armie Hammer, and and ever since I've heard that guy's name, I always thought his parents really didn't like him, did he?
No.
But anyway, Armie Hammer had this to say in his tweet, quote, "So touched by all of the celebrities posting pictures of themselves with Stan Lee. No better way to commemorate an absolute legend than putting up a picture of yourself."
What a dick!
I know, really? Right? So, and then Jeffrey Dean Morgan, in response to this, said this, quote, "Looks like you found a way to use others' ways of mourning and their memories to draw some attention to yourself. You sound like a real asshat."
Nice. Well played, sir.
Let's see. Now, I'm going to do a little bit of self-promotion here.
Fucking dick.
This was my actually I posted this before I saw Jeffrey Dean Morgan's thing. So this was my response to to that if I can find it. There it is. So remember, kids, when Army Hammer passes away, may that day be a long, long way off. Do not commemorate him in any way by sharing any fond memories you might have of when your life intersected his. Because that, well, that would be selfish.
Yeah, no shit.
And so, and he's since deleted the tweet. He deleted the tweet within the last like hour and a half or so because it was there shortly before I started up the stream or set the stream up. So yeah, he got the message, I guess.
What a fucking douche.
I know. I was like, dude, are you kidding me?
Really? I think one of the funny things that I saw earlier was Keemstar's post.
Oh, yeah, that's funny.
Man, I laughed at that shit, and then I read the comments, and I'm like, "Wow, people are upset about this."
What did he say? I didn't see it.
He saw Jake Paul. Was it Jake or Logan?
No, Logan.
Logan Paul shared a picture of him with Stan Lee and was like, R.I.P. and all that shit. And Keemstar was like, "Wow, he's still taking pictures with dead people, huh?"
Oh my god!
And I was like,
"Great."
I was like, dude,
that was great.
Oh,
it was hilarious.
That is distasteful, but hilarious as fuck.
I know.
And
it's great. It's great.
Look, if you look at the comments, though, people are pissed.
Oh yeah,
they are not happy.
No, see, but that's a dig on Logan Paul and the shit he already pulled, not a dig on Stan Lee. For God's sake.
But that's how they took it. Like he was.
I know. I don't care. What
I know. It's hilarious. Hilarious. Anyway, so yeah, those are all the big stories for today, guys. And I wanted to bring out that one about Army Hammy. That usually would be internet fucketry stuff, but since he deleted the tweet, I wanted to give that a little bit more above the fold kind of stuff.
Did I miss it, or did you not talk about Jim Acosta?
Well, Monkey, you can be the first MSS news story. Go ahead.
I actually brought up a different story about it because, for those of you who don't know, CNN has decided to sue the White House.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. So somehow CNN didn't have that story right above their top headlines for some reason.
Because they're full of shit. They know they are. Anyway, the story I pulled up is actually Woodward on CNN. Remedy isn't a lawsuit. It's more serious reporting.
Oh,
right.
Woodward.
Watergate reporting icon Bob Woodward argued that the remedy to President Trump's decision to revoke Jim Acosta's White House press credentials isn't a lawsuit. Quote, it's more serious reporting about what he's doing. Woodward made the remark at the Global Financial Leadership Conference in Naples, Florida. Quote, in the news media, there has been an emotional reaction to Trump, Woodward said, later adding, too many people for Trump or against Trump have become emotionally unhinged about this.
Damn.
The remedy isn't a lawsuit. It's more serious reporting about what he's doing. And there's a little bit more to this story, but it mostly just goes over the lawsuit itself. But yeah, Bob knocking it out of the park on that one.
Damn. Woodward taking him to the woodshed. Jesus.
Yeah.
It's so simple though. Like it's such a simple concept. And it's so simple that even some of the people who I thought were fucking beyond this type of revelation, like that, I was talking to the ranting feminist on Twitter, and even she was just like, God damn, I'm so fucking sick of people making up shit about Trump. And I was just like, look, y'all are making the fucking crazy feminists come out and say this shit, man. It's so simple. Just stop lying. It's easy.
For those of you who don't know, the actual lawsuit is they're basically claiming that Jim Acosta has a right to a permanent press pass,
which is horseshit.
Which you don't.
Yeah, it's horseshit.
So good luck with that lawsuit. Way to waste everybody's time. You could always just put a new reporter in there, somebody who's not a dick. Do you know Jim Acosta can still get in the White House? He can still cover these things.
Mm-hmm.
He just has to get a daily pass, which may or may not be approved.
Yeah. I really hope they actually do take it to court and they get drummed out completely, and then they call it the Acosta rule from then on, where like nobody has a right to a permanent pass. It's the Acosta rule.
Well, that's the thing. The White House can't ban all press from their conferences, and CNN's like, if they could do this to us, they could do it to anyone. Yeah, anyone who's acting like he did.
Yeah.
Stop pretending he's done nothing wrong. He's been a dickhole for 2 years now.
All right.
And they put up with it for a long time, Jim. Come on, Jim.
Come on, Jim.
Come on, Jim.
Come on.
Not Medicare. Acosta.
Yeah, Acosta. Come on, Acosta.
All right. Well, all that being said, it's now MSS News time. So, guys, if you have news stories you'd like us to attempt to read on the air, please send them to us via Twitter using the hashtag MSSNews. Can't promise we'll get to them all, but that's just because you guys send us so many stories, and there's only so many minutes in the day.
Wonderful problem to have.
Exactly. It's a good problem to have. And with that, this one comes from Frosted Glass. And it's another story from our friends at the Mary Sue.
Oh, boy.
Now, I really shouldn't have to go any further than the headline on this. I'll read at least a paragraph within because, anyway. Why the Falcon Winter Soldier TV series should make them a couple.
Oh, fuck off.
We might still be mourning the not-so-permanent deaths, despite what Marvel Studio President Kevin Feige keeps trying to convince us, and dustings in Avengers Infinity War, but we can't help but get roped back into, potentially, more suffering now after Variety reported that a Falcon Winter Soldier limited series is underway. Although the twosome hasn't had much screen time together, we kind of hope the series will explore Sam and Bucky's relationship. And yes, that includes making their headcanon ship canon. Thank you, Sanguine. Strange, I don't remember CNN being pissed when Fox was being labeled not real news by Obama, and they weren't even as blatantly full of shit / unhinged. Yeah. Well, no, so hold on. Okay, now, correct me if I'm wrong, but there was a point at which some reporter at the White House during Obama's tenure got axed or something, and a lot of news organizations came to their defense, especially Fox News, I think it was, wasn't it?
I don't remember. I do remember I do remember the Obama administration going after reporters pretty hard and nobody giving a fuck.
Yeah, I could have sworn there was something about a Fox reporter getting short shrift from the Obama White House, and then all the other reporters came to their defense. Maybe I'm misremembering. But so it's not necessarily so that CNN's a complete hypocrite. But if somebody can find that story or, prove me completely Alzheimer's patient, I'll take it either way. Thank you, Pumpkin Trucker. Just remember, CNN wasn't banned. Acosta did. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it was an individual, not the news organization.
Yeah, but that's irrelevant. Just like CNN wasn't the one that the bombs got sent to, but yes, they were.
That's what it was. Prospero says Fox didn't get access to a White House meeting. That's right. They banned Fox from coming into a White House meeting, and all the other news organizations, CNN included, came to Fox's defense. So in that regard, they're not being hypocritical. In this instance, they're completely being stupid because Acosta earned getting his ass kicked out of there. Anyway, moving on from shipping two characters that don't need to be shipped together. This one comes from senior staff reporter and chief Florida correspondent Colleen Bernier. This is a thing that happened. Florida man dressed as Fred Flintstone pulled over for driving footmobile. And there's a picture. Here's a picture. I'm going to put this link in the chat for those of you who want to see this brilliance.
Florida man.
A Florida man, of course, Florida man, was pulled over by law enforcement and given a citation. All sounds normal until you learn that he was dressed as Fred Flintstone, and the vehicle he was driving was the footmobile made infamous in the popular cartoon show. But before you go all T-Rex on the cops, understand that it was all in fun. Don Schwartz, a.k.a. Fred Flintstone, was driving around the Pasco County area in his smart car, disguised as the footmobile. Pasco County Deputy H. Echeverra pulled Schwartz over for allegedly speeding in a neighborhood and issued him a notice to appear. Quote, a very special thank you to Mr. and Mrs. Don and Trina Schwartz for being such great sports. Yabba dabba doo from the Pasco Sheriff's Office. That's cute.
Let me see. Hold on. I'm trying to figure out what he looks like. The dad. What's her face's dad from that '70s show?
Oh, Donna's dad.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, with that wig. If that is a wig, I suppose it is. Let's see. We talked about the lawsuit. What? Okay, this comes from Massive Dynamics. Extremely pushy dad shoves his goalie son to save a goal during under eights match.
Hey,
Dude.
This is from the Metro UK, so the terminology is a little off, but either way, the dad of a goalkeeper in an under eights match, that means under 8 years old, pushes over his own son to help him stop a ball from hitting the back of the net. There's a video of this. The footage was taken in mid-Wales between Bow Street's Magpies and Ysugal Lalander FC. I don't understand. The boy's dad pushes him to block the ball from going in the goal, and initially he was successful. The ball just bounces off the under 8-year-old player. But one of the opposition teams sees the boy still on the ground, so he takes a shot and scores. The dad then walks away, gesturing that he's unimpressed. Jesus.
What a nice dad.
Yeah, living vicariously through your kids? No, pushing through your kids. What the fuck, dude?
Next time, just strap him to your body so you can play the game for him.
it's hilariously tragic.
Let's see. This one comes from Peter Stewart. Let's see. All I wanted was to be a hockey player. Willie O'Ree inducted into Hall of Fame. Okay. From Toronto. Willie O'Ree simply wanted a chance to show what he could do. Years later, and under vastly different circumstances, the same went for Martin St. Louis and Jana Hefford. What? Okay. There was a common theme as the Hockey Hall of Fame welcomed its newest members Monday, one of opportunity. Quote, at the age of 14, I had set 2 goals for myself, play professional hockey and one day play in the National Hockey League, O'Ree said in his speech. All I wanted was to be a hockey player. All I needed was the opportunity. Oh, here we go. The first black player in NHL history and the third to enter the Hall, O'Ree would get that chance when he was called up by the Boston Bruins for a game against the Montreal Canadiens on January 18th, 1958. Quote, I did not know I was breaking the color barrier, O'Ree, now 83, continued. That's how focused I was on making my dream come true. Let's see. Yeah, well, it goes on for quite a while, a lot of history and stuff. But hey, congratulations to him.
All righty then.
Yeah.
Cool.
When did, I know it's much earlier than this, when did Hank Aaron enter the baseball?
Oh, God, I have no idea.
Was it the early 50s?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just curious if he ended up in the hockey in the NHL before Hank Aaron ended up playing baseball. I don't know what the time frame is. I'm sure one of our local historians here will tell me shortly. Let's see. Okay, we already did the story. Okay, the Reaper sent us a story about the Girl Scouts suing the Boy Scouts. Let's see. We talked about that one. What is this? New Fate 26. Wish there was an article to make this MSS news. Okay. Ginger Power says 53 to 54 area. Okay, so sorry, did I mean Jackie Robinson? Okay, I said Hank Aaron, didn't I?
Oh yeah,
Sorry.
you did.
Sorry, my bad, guys. I am not a baseball historian. If you hadn't noticed. So this is a letter, I guess. It's not a story. Mr. Baylor, or this is really tiny text as far as I can see. I have passed your contact information along to Miss Tara Strong and her attorney, from whom I am certain you will hear presently. Immediately, you are to 1. Cease and desist all attempts to contact Tara Strong from any and all of your social media accounts, including, and let's stop all the.
Wait. What is this for?
I don't know.
I know who the Tara Strong person is.
Well, I heard there was some kind of wasn't there some kind of Twitter muss up with her recently or something?
What happened? She's the one who recorded herself saying that she's more American than the Uber driver she had because she was born here. Yeah, that's her.
Okay,
so I was wondering, was this addressed to that driver?
I don't know. I don't know what the name of the driver was. 2, cease and desist all attempts to contact Tara Strong from any and all. Yeah, you already said that. Cease and desist harassment of Miss Tara Strong. Cease and desist all harassment, Miss Strong, from the website. Anime Outsiders. Okay. Yeah, I don't know what the name of the taxi driver was, but whoever Mr. Bayer or Baller is, I can't read that. So yeah, somebody's trying to shut this guy down from talking about her, I guess.
So this cunt puts this video up thinking everybody's going to rush to her defense because she was being a cunt, and it didn't, and it blew up in her face, and now other people have to stop responding, and fuck you, bitch. Them titties ain't going to get you out of this one.
Ooh, interesting. This one comes from Jim Heelis. How a selfie saved a Texas man from 99 years in prison.
Damn.
In 2017, Christopher Procopia was charged with a felony he knew he hadn't committed. Okay. The morning of September 22nd, 2017, Christopher Procopia went to work at a lumberyard in Georgetown. By the end of the day, he was in jail facing 99 years in prison, but he didn't know why. Why had police come to his work and arrested him? Why was he being accused of these horrible crimes? Who was accusing him? She said he broke into her home in Temple. She said he sliced an X into her chest with a box cutter. She said it happened on September 20th, 2017, around 7:20 p.m. She was his high school girlfriend. The two dated several years earlier, but he couldn't remember the last time the two had contact. Now Procopia was facing a felony charge, burglary of a habitation with the intent to commit other crimes. Quote, I had no idea why everything was happening, and I was lost, he said. Procopia was taken to the Williamson County Jail, where his parents posted a $150,000 bond. Then they began fighting to prove his innocence. Procopia knew he didn't do it. He knew he couldn't have done it. On the night of the alleged attack, he was with his mother, Erin, at a Northwest Austin hotel about 65 miles from the accuser's home. Quote, I'm thinking, this is awesome. By the grace of God, she said it happened on the day where I can say totally 100% where he was at, Erin Procopia said. There were sworn affidavits from several people who were with him that evening. There were pictures to prove it, and they were posted on Facebook, time-stamped, geolocated, an alibi. Quote, most of the time we deal with gray matters, attorney Rick Flores said. It's not normally black or white, but this is one of those cases where I could definitely prove he did not commit this offense. The question still remained, why had Procopia been arrested and had police done a thorough investigation? There was hard evidence, it just needed to be found. Police experts say, in most cases, investigators should try to interview a suspect before filing charges to determine if they have a possible alibi. You think? In Procopia's case, police reports show he returned a phone call to police and left a message before they moved to arrest him. Quote, you may not get any more information than you had, but it gives you an opportunity for the suspect to react, respond, deny, Bruce Mills, a former Austin assistant police chief and policing consultant, said. Quote, certainly a case where the suspect appeared to be available, it would be more step you could take. It would be more step. How about one more step? 9 months after Procopia's arrest, Flores said he took the evidence of an alibi to Bell County prosecutors who dropped the charge, quote, in the interest of justice. Now, what happened to the girl, I wonder? Temple police wouldn't talk about their handling of the case. Bell County District Attorney Henry Garza said, quote, we are always willing to listen and examine new information, and that's exactly what we did in this case. Procopia's accuser told police that the two had a troubled relationship when they dated in high school several years ago, and she cited that as a reason she reported that he assaulted her. Okay.
Okay.
Editor's note. KVUE is not identifying Procopia's accuser because she hasn't been charged with a crime.
You have a super chat.
She gets the cover. He gets fucked. Okay, thank you, Terry Diamantis. She got too specific. She should have Blasey Forded her way through the accusation. Well, if the cops are willing to arrest the guy and absolutely no questioning whatsoever, not even willing to do an investigation ahead of time to try to prove or disprove it, then yeah, that's fucked.
Yo, selfie saved lives, son.
I guess so. And especially these days, like, you know, with your cell phone pinging or you're using a debit card or whatever else, your movements are tracked passively, whether you are taking selfies or not. So always remember, the last time that you walked by a cell phone tower, the last time you used your debit card, you basically got stamped as being a particular place at a particular time. Holy cow, what a nightmare. Okay, this is one that I posted. I didn't see anybody else post it, so I'm going to do this one real quick.
Wait a second.
Yes.
This happened more than a year ago, and they're not going to release her name because she's not being
Charged with a crime. Yeah.
She's not getting charged at all. It's not like they're thinking it over. Fuck me. Go. Okay. I'm sorry.
I mean, false reporting, false
Hmm.
arrest, $150,000 bond they had to post to get him out, 9 months worth of pain, torture, and fear, and she gets away with it. Horseshit. Absolute horseshit. You know, and there are laws about false reporting. Why the speaking not get enforced more often? I don't understand. Anyway, speaking of fake reports, man who made hoax call in deadly swatting pleads guilty.
Good.
A California man pleaded guilty Tuesday to making a hoax call that ultimately led police to fatally shoot a Kansas man following a dispute between two online gamers over a $1.50 bet on a Call of Duty World War II video game. Tyler R. Barris, 26, admitted to making the false report resulting in a death, as well as cyber stalking and conspiracy related to the deadly swatting calls in Kansas. The deal with prosecutors will send him to prison for between 20 and 25 years if the judge accepts it. He had previously pleaded not guilty in Kansas. As part of the plea agreement with federal prosecutors, Barris pleaded guilty to a total of 51 charges that included federal charges initially filed in California and the District of Columbia related to other fake calls and threats. Yeah, so good. I still think the cop that shot the guy without any reason to should have something else happen to them, but that's different.
You know, I don't necessarily agree with you or disagree with you there. But this shitbag kicked it all off.
Yes.
So I'm glad he's going to prison. Yeah. Fuck him.
Yeah, he set the table. The cop that had the itchy trigger finger. Yeah, anyway, that's a different story. Let's see. We'll do... how about...
I just don't understand getting that into a game. I really don't. And I get hardcore in my games, but Jesus fuck, dude.
Yeah.
I'm going to kill you over it. Fuck off.
Oh, we'll end with this one because this sounds funny. This one comes from Corey, our friend Corey. If this is true, then I'm in trouble. Cheese, as in the food. Cheese triggers same part of brain as hard drugs, study finds.
No wonder.
Cheese contains a chemical found in addictive...
Cheese.
Sorry?
So that's why I like my spray cheese. I can't get enough.
No,
I get the itch when I don't get it.
Monkey, they said cheese.
No,
not
Monkey,
whatever the fuck
that's
is in that
cheese.
Can.
No, Monkey, you like spray cheese because you have no taste.
Oh, that's hard. That's hardcore.
I know. Let's see. Are you?
No.
Oh, well, you got me hopeful there for a second.
Yeah.
Let's see.
You asshole.
Cheese contains a chemical found in addictive drugs, scientists have found. The team behind the... No. The team behind the study set to pinpoint why certain foods are more addictive than others. Using the Yale Food Addiction Scale, I didn't know that was a thing, designed to measure a person's dependence on what? Okay.
Those foods.
I guess so. Scientists found that cheese is particularly potent because it contains casein, or casein? C-A-S-E-I-N. Casein? The substance, which is present in all dairy products, can trigger the brain's opioid receptors, which are linked to addiction. The authors also found that processed foods were more associated with addictive behavior, with fatty foods being the most difficult to put down. In addition, they found that the top-ranking foods on the addiction scale were those containing cheese. Using the Yale Food Addiction Scale. So this was a thing that existed before they started doing the study. Why is it a surprise then?
Jim says it's KCN.
Casein? Casein? Okay.
Because people are bored and they need to feel like they're doing something.
Yeah. So go inject some cheese, guys.
Hey,
I always
have you ever
thought it
tried
was
to stop eating pizza rolls, man?
I never started.
Cheese.
I never
It's that
started.
cheese. I'm
Well,
sorry.
see-
What were you going to say, Satsu?
I was saying I always thought it was weird these studies or whatever that come out to say something like blatantly obvious. I mean, obviously, like I said, they're just bored and they need something to do. But
well, I know you said this was the last story, but there was a story we covered this morning that they did a study to find out what people would do in cars that drive themselves besides just eating. Can you guess what the study figured out people would do in cars that drive themselves?
Sleep.
That's one of them.
Sex.
That's the one that they were surprised by.
They were surprised by that.
They had to do a fucking study to figure it out.
Ooh, what were the test subjects? Porn stars?
I don't know.
Let's see.
Everybody fucks in cars.
Head will take place between here and the end of the mile.
Yeah, it's going to turn into roaming brothels, is what they said.
Oh, all right. Well, guys, thank you so much for all the stories. We have way more than we had time for. So
I'm gonna steal some of these for Monkey in the Morning tomorrow.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, and it's I've actually had this asked to me privately before. Just so anybody knows who runs their own show or does their own stream, you don't need to ask permission to use any of the MSS news stories for your own show. Just saying, open season. I'm not being facetious or making fun here. I've had people honestly like ask me, "Is it okay if I use that story on my show?" I'm like, yeah, no, it's. Go ahead. Just because it has the tag doesn't mean we own it or anything.
We own that shit.
Yeah, we have a monopoly on all stories.
You owe us 10%.
Thank you, Pumpkin Trucker. Cheese contains dihydrogen monoxide, a chemical found in most drugs, diesel, and many diluted acids. You're not making me want to have any more smoked Gouda right now, Pumpkin, and that depresses me because I love smoked Gouda.
Well, do you guys think it's weird too when articles come out and they say shit like
isn't that H2O?
What?
Dihydrogen monoxide? What? Are you talking? H2O is water, Monkey.
Yeah, he just used the chemical name for water. Dihydrogen is 2 parts hydrogen, monoxide 1 part oxygen.
Oh yeah.
I'm stupid. I'm not a scientist, for fuck's sake. I'm not a chemist. What the fuck do I know? Okay, thanks, Pumpkin Trucker. Make me look like an idiot. Jesus. I'm an English major, not a science freak, damn it.
No, what I was saying was, isn't it weird whenever stories come out like that say that, this item shares, is found in these items or whatever, and it's always like something that doesn't matter, where it's just like, because this item is found in that other item, that means that it's just as bad as the first one or something like that. So they're like stuff that's found in cereal can also be found in paint thinner or some shit like that. And it's like, okay. It's like, who gives a fuck? I don't know. It's just a weird thing to bring up for no reason. It's like, well, what does that mean? And they're like, nothing. And you're like, oh, okay.
No, the reason is that they have way too much grant money and they need to spend it, or they don't get the same amount of grant money the next year. So it's like, let's do a study on things just to get rid of the money. Anyway, thank you guys for the stories. Now on to YouTube time. Satsu, what did you do today?
Oh, I didn't do anything, man.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't do anything.
All right. Monkey?
I think I did a Monkey in the Morning.
You just said that you did.
Yeah, I did. Whoops.
What we did this morning about the whole thing and the stuff and the thing and the moving cars? Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, that was the first story I did this morning because that's what I woke up to. That was the first article I read today. And I'm like, you really had to do a study for that?
Yeah.
Really?
Well, these are scientists. Maybe they don't know what sex in a car is like.
That was my thing. Maybe they just don't know what sex is. But I want to do a poll, an informal poll in chat. Press 1 if you've had sex in a car.
Okay.
Because we lit it up earlier and there was nobody who hadn't apparently. Y'all are a bunch of degenerates.
Wait, is being halfway out of the car, does that
That's
count?
still sex in a car.
Okay. Cool.
It was a more chill stream than we've had lately. It was just a very, very chill stream for the most part until we got to the end where we argued which was better, cats or dogs.
Jesus.
And we found out Gutenberg really doesn't like the ocean. He's afraid of the ocean. And yeah, that's what we did today. But I do want to, before we move on, I want to say thank you. And again, I said this morning. I don't know if this person wants me to identify them, but I've said a couple of times now that I'm trying to save up money to get a video capture card so I can possibly put up Red Dead videos. And somebody was nice enough to just buy it for me outright.
God damn.
Oh, the capture card?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
So thank you. And if you want me to give your name out, I will give you high praise with your name. But even without sharing your name, I cannot thank you enough for that. That is amazing. I appreciate
Monkey,
it.
send me some of that money you earned before, so I can move.
Well, thank you, mystery person. That's very nice of you. Let's see. Well, I did a little bit of work on a couple of things yesterday and today, somewhat. Not to be too vague about it. Like I've said before, I've got like 8 or 9 folders on my desktop of slightly started projects. So the 2 that I'm kind of playing with right now, one is a TEDx talk wherein a therapist, well, she called herself a doctor. I didn't know what kind of doctor she was, but she talks about how medical professionals, the medical industry, needs to learn to respect transgender identities. And I was like, and you know, she went to the line of being assigned male at birth and this kind of thing. And I'm like, well, okay, to a certain extent, fine, but if it comes down to it, if somebody walks in and says, you know, hi, my name's Michelle, and the doctor says, well, we need, you know, you're over 50, we need to check your prostate. I don't think any respect of their gender preference is going to matter when it comes down to their biological health.
Nope.
And I'm not quite sure where she's going with her talk. I'm actually kind of editing it in real time as I go, writing my script and everything. So she gives a couple of personal stories about people that she's met in her work. And I'm kind of like, yeah, all right, legit. I mean, if they're taking, you know, hormone replacement therapy or something, sure, you have to disclose that to your doctor because they can't make a correct diagnosis that they don't know, A, what your biological reality is, and B, if you're on hormone replacement therapy. But, you know, they can't pretend that you are something you aren't and be an effective doctor. So I'm not quite sure. Not quite sure what she's arguing for yet, but we'll see. And the other one is a Root video, a video from the Root at least, where a painter, an artist, is complaining that portraiture, or the style of art called portraiture, is exclusively an old white man thing. So she's trying to change that narrative by doing portraits of Black people.
What?
And she says something to the effect of, historically, Black men and their bodies have been criminalized, villainized, and sexualized, and I'm going to change that. And the very next image that comes up after she says that is one of her paintings of a half-naked, muscular Black man. And I'm
Shouldn't
like,
she have been drawing Fat Albert naked?
Yeah, so you're trying to desexualize Black men, are you? What did he's and the subject of the painting's got like these bedroom eyes going on and everything. What? So again, and I'm not really sure where she's going with this beyond the opening deal. So it's one of those things where I've just got too many projects and something really needs to grab my attention. And I know it can still happen because that whole Viking Swedish thing just, you know, hit my brain within 3 seconds of seeing the title. So it's one of those things.
Jean-Pierre wants you to explain the title. I would do it, but I forgot what the title is.
Okay, the title is The Lone Ranger v. Negan, Dawn of Jealousy. So briefly, the actor that portrayed the Lone Ranger, most recently Armie Hammer, was tweeted at by the actor who plays Negan in The Walking Dead, Jeffrey Dean Morgan, when Armie Hammer made a very pithy, snotty comment about people paying tribute to Stan Lee by posting pictures of themselves with him and him deriding them for making themselves, the people who were posing with Stan Lee, the center of attention. And it was just like, the fuck are you talking about? And Jeffrey Dean Morgan put him in his place, and Army Hammer has since deleted his tweet, even though it's immortalized forever. Thank you, Sanguine. I keep saying this is you, look like a dude, and tell the doc you are a man, and never mention being born female. You might die of a heart attack while they check your neck for trauma. Yeah, I don't understand why somebody would walk into a doctor's office and intentionally lie to the doctor if they're having a problem.
Yes, thank you.
And this is, I mean, I was thinking about how I was going to approach this subject because I really, there's a couple of folders on my desktop, videos that deal with different aspects of mental illness, or mental disorders and things like that. I'm always cagey about approaching some of that stuff because you're talking about especially if it's somebody talking about their own issues. It's really hard to criticize someone who's talking about what's going on inside their own head, because it's like you can't say that they're wrong unless they say something that's demonstrably in reality wrong. When they're trying to explain to somebody what it's like living their life, there's not much for me to criticize because I can't, you can't know and you can't say one way or the other.
Sure.
But when this lady is talking on behalf of this community that she's either being a therapist for or otherwise, on the one hand, the argument seems to be, well, the medical industry needs to respect the identities of transgender people and not treat them any differently than they want themselves to be seen by the world. But I'm thinking on the flip side, why would you go to the doctor and attempt to deceive them about the truth of your biological reality if you actually want to be treated?
Well, that's the problem, and I've had this argument recently with a trans person. Like, look, no matter what you think you are, no matter how you feel inside, you have a prostate.
Yeah,
and doctors need to know that.
Mm-hmm.
Doctors also need to know, one, like you said, if you're on hormone replacement, that can affect your drugs. But even if you're not, the doses that are prescribed to men and women can be different based on how fucking big they are.
Yeah.
And how the male metabolism works versus that. There's so many reasons not to fucking lie to your doctor ever.
Yeah.
I try not to lie in my life anyway, but I do not lie to my doctor because I want to get better.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't make any sense, and it's super sad too, like to like try to promote something like this. But the only way that these people are going to learn is by giving them what they want. Like having doctors completely ignore their biology and give them prescriptions and stuff based on what they feel like they need, and allowing the ramifications to take place.
Yeah, and then the doctor gets sued for.
Yeah,
I know.
First, no, the doctors can't do that. The thing.
Well, obviously they can't. I'm just saying that's the only way these people are going to learn.
Yeah, I understand. I mean, part of this lady's argument. I'm basically doing the video right now. Part of this lady's argument, I don't have a problem with, in the sense of just like courtesy, in the sense that if someone wants to be called, Annette, and it is obviously a man, and that's the name they go by, fine, you call them Annette. Who cares? If it's the whole personal pronoun stuff, all the window dressing, not to be, not to sound condescending, but if it's just window dressing stuff or just common, interactions and stuff, fine. But when it comes down to the actual medical necessities of visiting a doctor, sorry, your internal feelings about yourself do not supersede biological reality. And if you want to be healthy, or at least as healthy as you can be, you gotta just go with the fact that you are as you actually are, and not how you feel, because emotions do not designate biological reality, no matter how much you want to do otherwise. Thank you, Sanguine. That would end in mounds of the trans dead, Satsu.
Well, that's kind of the point. I mean, not that he wants trans people to die, but to get the point through to them, look, you got to fucking be honest with your doctors.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I mean, like I said, like we always say, reality don't give a fuck about how you feel. Like it really don't. And no matter how much you pretend that this is what you want, the bottom line is it's not what you need if you want to survive. And I wouldn't want anything horrible to happen to these people, but I mean, the people who are willing to see what the fuck is going on need to be able to witness, like, this shit has consequences. You cannot play around with this. It's not a game. We can fight for your rights to feel the way you want to feel out there in the world where your imagination can run wild and there's no consequences to you just saying who you are. But when it's time to get down to real business, this shit is just as important for trans people's survival as, you know, being called the proper pronoun, which for some reason is a higher priority than you literally living.
Thank you, William Savage. Scribe, Monkey, Satsu, and Associated Contacts family. Know that you are loved. Back to rum.
Hey, love you back, Will.
Thank you, William. Okay, well, we kind of rolled over, but any internet fucketry to discuss before we get into other things?
I have some.
I figure you would. I'll let you go last, Monkey. Satsu, do you have any internet fucketry?
Not really. The only thing I saw really on Twitter that I commented on was the Keemstar tweet, which I thought was funny. If you guys want to laugh, look at some of the comments. They are pretty hilarious.
I want to give another little self-promotion thing here briefly because I'm actually kind of surprised at how popular this is. Well, maybe I'm not, I guess, but I put out a tweet earlier today that said, "Dear Marvel Studios, please arrange and hold a special memorial for the real Stan Lee, wherein all the actors and actresses from the MCU appear in costume to honor him. A giant superhero-filled funeral like those we often see in comics would be an excellent tribute, in my opinion. Thank you." And I think this might be my most liked and retweeted tweet in my entire history. Cool. And I'm very glad to see that. Some people have retweeted it off to like Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans and all these guys. I don't know. One can only hope, but I just wanted to thank everybody who, retweeted this and sent it out to other people. And those people who sent it out again, because it would be really cool if they did something like that. Or if there was some, I don't know, something that they put ahead of the next Marvel movie or something with all of them, standing in unison kind of deal, giving a tribute or something. I think that'd be neat. But that's all the, also Monkey's granddaughter Pumpkin throwing up the peace sign. If you guys can see that.
Well, we can help them see that.
That's true. I can retweet it out again.
Well, I just shared it. You can put me on screen for a moment. They'll be able to see. So I'll keep it real.
There is the small one, the small pumpkin.
And she's so cute.
Yes, she is. A little bundle of joy. All right, Monkey. So it is your turn. What fucketry do you have?
I only have two, really. Well, the three if you count Alyssa Milano, because Alyssa Milano says, "Does anyone else find it suspicious that Fox News hasn't tweeted in over 4 days?" Suspicious? No, considering they said they were boycotting the platform. But there's also, the fact that one of their hosts was had his house not surrounded. It had a group of assholes come to his house where his fucking children live and act like douchebags.
Yeah.
No, I don't find it suspicious at all. But I've been seeing Monica Lewinsky all over today, and I'm not really sure why.
Oh yeah, well, she said something about like wanting to apologize to Hillary.
Well, apparently she's got there's a new documentary, because we have to have one of these every 5 years or so. And in this, she says something that makes it sound like they actually like bumped uglies. Yeah, there's a quote where she's talking about how she got the splooge on her dress, which, by the way, she didn't notice for quite a while. Apparently she doesn't get her clothes cleaned at all. And she says she thought it was spinach dip when she first saw it.
God. All right.
Bill, you need to get your dick looked at, man. There shouldn't be little chunks in it. Anyway, but I say I really don't care. I don't care about her and Bill having sex. I never did. It's none of my business. They're two grown-ass adults, and I don't give a fuck. And I should have expected it, but there are people who came at me with, the boss subordinate argument. And I know, Scribe, you're one of those people like, don't have relations at work or with work coworkers.
Yep.
And I'm just not that person. I mean, people have been doing that since work was invented.
Mm-hmm.
And I realize we live in a little bit of a different time, but I don't give a fuck. I mean, there's still consenting adults. And as long as he's not saying the only way you get this job is by sucking this dick,
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with it. You're grown ass adults to do your own thing. And there's people who've been upset at me about that. And you're never going to make me care. You're just not, because I don't. They're grown. They did what they did. It did not hurt me or my life in any fucking way whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
Frankly, I think the president should probably get a blowjob every day because that is a stressful. Have you seen the pictures of before and after when presidents go into office?
Oh yeah, no, they aged 17 billion years because they're basically having to, hold the weight of the country on their arms and also send guys off to war and shit. I can't imagine. Yeah.
Obama was a young, charismatic looking dude. He came out looking like Morgan Freeman. Like he even turned a little whiter. I mean, that's not. He should have got blowjobs every day. He'd have looked fine. And the pictures of Clinton. Clinton was really bad, man, when he went in versus when he came out.
Oh yeah.
So this is a stressful job. Let them get blowjobs from people who want to suck their dick. I have no problem with that. There should be a glory hole for the president at the White House. He just walks up, sticks his dick in there. Whoever wants to can have some fun with it.
Jim Acosta.
There you go. Tosa says she was a 20-year-old. If someone would do that to Grand Monkey when she was 20, would you beat that person's ass? If she's 20 years old, she's making her own decisions. Would I agree with it? No. But what am I going to do? Beat up everyone she has relationships with? Because what? I mean, there's a lot of people that do you beat up everybody that you see with an age difference?
What?
Well, the assumption there being that she was only 20. What, she can't make up her mind as a 20-year-old?
Yeah.
I expect 20-year-olds to be adults and be able to make fucking decisions.
She's a victim of the patriarchy, Monkey.
She is. She's a victim because Bill. I don't hate Bill the way a lot of people do, so I don't care. He got his dick sucked. Good for him.
Scribe, it's pronounced patriarchy.
Patriarchy. Oh my God, that video.
Oh, my apologies.
Yeah, get it right.
Where was the other one? Oh, you know what? It's not. It's a holdover from yesterday.
Real quick, thank you, Sanguine. Well, given Obama's tastes, Serena would have needed to be a White House intern.
Oh God! Oh, you're not wrong.
Jesus.
But you know what? I still think he should have got his dick sucked. There should be a presidential fluffer. I'm just saying. Yesterday we had the Twitter thing I told you guys about, where the girl claimed to be 13 and wanted guys to splooge on her.
Yeah.
And there were some people who had a problem with me having a problem with that.
Okay.
One, because, and if I fucking hear this again, I might punch myself in the face. Pedophiles can't help who they're attracted to. You know what? Maybe they can't. They can control who the fuck they touch.
Yeah.
And they compared this to like teens on Pornhub. Yeah, those teens are 18 and 19, not 13. And child play and all that. You know what? If you want to go do child play, that's fine. Go do that in your bedroom with a grown adult. Here's the problem with the pedo though. If they know it's a grown adult, they're not going to be able to do it, because from what you've told me, they actually told me they can't get off unless it's a child. Well, then how the fuck is play going to help them? Stop it. And then this fucker actually compared this bitch's tweet, because she's the person who made that tweet is either 16 or 25. Nobody can give me a definitive answer. In either way, it's fucking gross. She's using pedophilia to grow, and that's fucking gross. But somebody defending this actually compared it to shooting people in video games.
What?
Yeah, because if a pedophile jacks off to this girl pretending to be 13, it's no big deal because that's just like, when you kill pixels in a video game. It's all just pretend. Okay, here's two problems with that. One, maybe this girl is 16, but what happens to a 13-year-old who wants to get popular and she sees that this is a way to do it?
Mm-hmm.
And two, there is a very real argument made by pedophiles. And we saw this with Amos Yee. And if you ever read stuff from those shitbags at NAMBLA, they insist that some children want to have sex. And somebody who comes across this, who doesn't go digging in there, doesn't see, oh, maybe she is older, is going to look at this and go, see, some kids do want it. So if you are arguing in any way that this bitch was okay with that nasty shit she did, fuck you.
I'm getting ill just hearing the notions of this. Oh, God.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, your boy Pat. Heart's Progress as well. Yes. I mean, this is an actual argument they make that it's okay because, the kids want it. No, it's not okay. And to have some bitch out there doing this so she can get views, I'm guessing is why she did it, because what other reason to do it? Fuck her. Fuck her right in the ass. And by the way, her account did get suspended.
Oh, okay. All monkeys do.
I did not go through the reporting system. I just added Jack, YouTube, and YouTube support. So I hope I was involved. Because as I've said, guys, I won't report you unless you're doing illegal shit. And child porn on Twitter, that's illegal.
All right.
Sorry, that's all I had. It just pisses me off so much reading these fucktards making excuses for this shit. Go fuck yourself.
I couldn't tell. You really need to learn how to express yourself more clearly, Monkey.
Man.
Let's see. We don't have much deep topic time. I had a thought earlier, but it has since left my brain with all the other stuff we have talked about. So now I'm having to rub my face because I'm tired.
Scribe?
Yes.
You should make yourself a note.
Hey, Monkey?
Yes, sir.
Now, there's a place you can go to fuck yourself.
Yes, I know. You've just said that to me so many times. I'm relishing the chance to give a little back.
Yeah, well, maybe I'm just catching up to your elder years and having my own brain farts. Thank you, Snubberth. I had urged as young, maybe you mean urges. I had urges as young as 11, and I never lost my MILF fetish.
You know what? I have always been interested in sex as far back as I can remember. But we've talked about this many times. It's the adult's role to say no.
Yeah.
Get away from me.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah.
Let's see. Well, since I have forgotten, I had like a deep topic kind of thing. It was something to the effect of what do you do when you're feeling helpless or something? And I'm that's not even what the thought I had. It was something like that. It was like, what was it? God, I hate this. I thought up this idea earlier today at work, right? And of course, yes, I didn't write it down because I thought, this is something that'll stick with me because I was feeling this the other day, and so it'll be relevant and poignant and everything. And then, of course, the day happened, and here I am, like, what was I supposed to be saying? I don't remember now. I think part of it was there's times where I feel like my creativity has just left me. I've talked about this before, like losing my muse.
Mm-hmm.
And while nobody's pressuring me to make videos and stuff, right now making the videos is my primary creative outlet. And so if enough time goes by and I can't find something that captures my mind, or I'm not being productive in that way, I get kind of blah, and I feel kind of, useless after a fashion. So with the few minutes we've got left, on the off chance this has ever occurred to either of you, because I don't know, when you're feeling, I don't know, either useless or unproductive or whatever else.
Hmm.
What do you do, if anything, to try to pull yourself out of that pit?
Um, it's funny you use the word useless because with this whole thing going on with me, there are many times that I feel just absolutely useless. Like there's nothing I can contribute to like the family or uh, today I there was a point after holding Pumpkin that I realized I had to give her back and I can't hold her for the rest of the day because my hand stopped working.
Mm.
Um, when it first started, I would just wallow and it was not good. And now what I do is same thing I do with any time I get in any kind of funk. I put on some good music and I just sing. I don't know if that's I mean the most healthy way to deal with it, but it pulls me out. I usually start with depressing music and then slowly move through my playlist into happier, more fun kind of songs. But yeah, I use music to pull myself out of pretty much everything.
Satsu.
Hmm. Uh, um, music for me, and just kind of leashing off a monkey here, but music for me is usually just to mute it. Um, After that, typically, if I'm having issues with pointing something out or whatever, I'll do the music thing just to kind of silence my thoughts for a minute and clear my brain. Um, and then whatever it is that I want to do, usually for me, I start to do it. You know what I mean? Like whatever it is, like if I should be making a video or I think I should be doing something, I'll clear my head by either playing video games or listening to music. And then whether I feel like doing it or not, I'll just kind of force myself to do it. And what usually happens is because it's typically something I enjoy, like making videos or doing content, I usually just kind of get pulled into it. You know what I mean? Like I get distracted because I've already cleared my head and I get engrossed in whatever it is I'm trying to do. And that usually helps me is getting over that initial hurdle because my major issue is my brain has a kind of capacity and it's usually filled with all kinds of crazy shit that shouldn't be there. So if I can get rid of it first by doing something that distracts me that I enjoy, it's usually a lot easier for me to work. So music, video games, talking to Squishy, or calling my mom because my mom can she fucking she always got some shit to say that takes me out of whatever funk I'm in.
So you guys sound far more thoughtful and insightful than I am because for me it's pretty much just vigorous masturbation. No, I mean, I guess I have a whole bunch of different things. I try to distract myself. I try to like jumpstart my brain. By like watching either watching videos that are interesting or listening to music or singing or mostly like talking things out to myself. Like
Oh yeah, that's not bad too. Yeah.
yeah, when I'm feeling like kind of like maybe not hopeless isn't the best word, but sort of like in a funk, let's just say,
Mhm.
doldrums, a malaise, whatever you want to call it. I'll just stop and sort of say, okay, let's take stock of things here just for a moment. All right. A, you're not being paid to do this. B, this is supposed to be a hobby, not a job, so don't feel too down about it. C, look at your library for fuck's sake. It's not like you haven't been doing stuff the last whenever. I mean, you still put out. I mean, if this is my main. First off, I want to say first world problems. If this is my main like my concern during the course of my week, have I put out a video lately? I'm doing okay. And I'm completely cognizant of the fact that if that is my biggest sort of like the thing that's weighing on my mind the most at any given point during the week, I really am doing just fine. But all the same, when I was doing my LARPing thing, the Vampire the Masquerade game, I was involved in that thing for 10 years straight. So a week, a day didn't go by where I didn't have some outlet for my imagination to sort of like plan things or to have something. And then once that whole part of my life kind of went away, that whole outlet vanished, and that was sort of like the buffer years between that and when I started doing YouTube. But now it's like I have to sort of generate that stuff, whereas the game and the activity and the group I was involved with was a passive presence for me to have an outlet for my imagination and everything else. And it was always there as an old reliable kind of thing. And so yeah, I'm neurotic. What can I tell you? But that's one of the things that I kind of struggle with from time to time when it comes to this hobby of mine. But anyway,
touching on something that Satsu said there, if I am really down or if I'm really out of it, I do go to Lady Monkey.
there you go.
Lady, I've said this before, but it's absolutely true. She is my rock, and she sees me at my lowest points that nobody else gets to see.
Yeah.
And it's just the ability to talk to her when I'm in that. She doesn't have to do anything. I actually understand the women's thing where they don't want you to fix their problems. They just want you to listen.
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes just talking to her makes it better for me. And then I can get my thoughts back in order and go back on my way. But yeah, she is my rock bottom savior. Absolutely.
Yeah. Squishy be she does a lot of things to help me, like, get forward and shit. Like, one of the things she always says to me is, you don't have to believe in yourself, because I do. And I'm just like,
there you go.
Come on.
Well,
get that cheesy shit out of here, girl.
But it's true, man. Them women.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on. It is the bottom of the hour, guys. I mean, it's your time, chat. If you have questions, comments, complaints, conspiracy theories, if I don't know what would be the other thing. If you have advice or notions about what you do to try to get yourself out of the gloomies, put in the chat now. If you have questions for us directly, please put plenty of question marks afterwards so we know it's for us and not part of an ongoing conversation you're having with yourselves in the chat, because chat really is its own little habitat.
It is.
Show. And I'm not complaining. I'm just saying that, we see you guys from time to time.
Before you get to the first question, I also want to throw in this. There are nights that I do not want to do this show because I'm in so much pain. And I always come here because you guys, you may not realize it. And I'm talking to Scribe and Satsu, and as well as the chat, but mostly to you two. You guys pick me up more than you realize. Doing this show, by the end of it, even if I'm having a bad night, I am in a better place.
Well, I don't mind picking you up, Monkey, because you're not heavy. You're my brother.
I love that song.
Yeah. Let's see. Random American says, what would I assume what would be a good state to move to? Denial.
Depends on what you like.
Yeah. Do you like heat? Do you like cold? Do you like in between? Because pick your part of the country. There you go. Wait, what was that noise?
Sounded like turkeys.
That was my phone.
Oh, for a second I thought it was Grand Monkey in the background. I was like, what?
No, that was my phone.
Okay. Hopeful for a second. Let's see. Jean-Pierre says, what are you guys doing for Thanksgiving? Which one of you hosting on that day? And will you have a special for that day? Well, Thanksgiving is a Thursday, so that'd be Satsu's night. So I don't know. Satsu, are you doing family stuff that night?
Me and Squishy are gonna be staying home. Like, we won't be leaving and going out to like visit family and stuff. And we're gonna be cooking together. She's like super pumped about this or whatever. And I actually planned on doing like a live stream that day, because a lot of people have been talking about me doing more cooking stuff. And obviously people want to see more Squishy or whatever. And there's a couple things I'm going to be cooking for the first time, so I thought it'd be interesting for people who, aren't out and about or maybe not spending time with family to hang out with us. So we were going to do kind of an extended stream that day to show us cooking and just hanging out and talking shit with viewers.
The Satsu 2 Cents Orphans Thanksgiving Special.
That's right.
Yeah.
Your family don't love you? That's okay. We will.
Adabisi asks, how old were either one of you guys when you stopped using the phrase, you are being bullied? Stopped using the phrase?
Like, do you mean like I'm being, like somebody was bullying me, or?
If that's what you mean, then
I've never been bullied.
I mean, I've been bullied, but I mean, I can't recall that I ever like complained about it beyond maybe like kindergarten or something like that, where I'd like cry to my mother or something, somebody's being mean to me kind of thing. Um, I, to be, I mean, to be generous, let's say I stopped sort of running to teacher with that kind of stuff after about third grade. Let's say, I don't know, something like that.
Jack says everyone is bullied. No, there are definite advantages to being the biggest kid who really, really likes to fight. My problem was my mom insisting I not turn into a bully. That was one of her biggest fears. And for most people, you know, sticks and stones may break my bones was, you know, words won't hurt you. Mine was don't hit people just because they said something mean to you. That's how mom meant it.
Thank you, Cryptic. Spread the icing, plaster the spackle, yank the crank, spread the glue. Okay, I'm done. Well, thank you, Cryptic. And remember, everybody, Cryptic's Asian, so I don't know how to translate that. Let's see. Black Romeo says, hopefully you guys have fun with Fallout 76. I don't like the game myself, but I hope you get to take any creative frustration you have through 76. Well, I mean, it was, as far as I had plenty of fun running around with Satsu and Monkey a week ago or whatever it was. Just playing through it a little bit today, you know, for half an hour or whatever. Yeah, I mean, it is a game that is built on the necessity of interaction with other people. It really is. I mean, it's a teamwork game. So if, now is it a model that's going to be successful, that it's not a PvP focused multiplayer game, that it is sort of a teamwork oriented game? I don't know. I can't recall many games that have had that much of a story and mechanical focus on teamwork. So that wasn't something like, you know, a capture the flag kind of thing, you know, two teams battling each other kind of deal. So I don't know. I guess we'll find.
Scribe, I was thinking about what you said earlier when you were playing with the dude or whatever, when you both were like talk about the single player aspect of the game, and you're like, yeah, this probably isn't going to work. I don't think it's going to be a good idea. And then you both played together and just like naturally enjoyed playing together. And I'm like, but I think that's the objective. And a lot of people, if they just accept that about the game, they'd be a lot better off or whatever. That random encounter, how you just randomly met a dude, you guys talked about the game or whatever, but then ultimately just ended up playing together and having a good time.
Yeah. I think people who like the actual like getting into a character or role-playing aspect of it. I could see if they end up having private servers, I could see there being like a role-play server where people go in and, you know, they set up their own little shanty town and there's shops and everything, and you could have sort of like an interactive habitat going on. A lot of that kind of stuff happened organically with things like Star Wars Galaxies, when MMOs were really like big sandbox deals. And you'd have these little communities built up. I'm sure Monkey experienced something similar when WoW first came out. Where
kind of.
Yeah, having social gatherings and having people kind of take it maybe a little more seriously than they should have, but maybe not to an unhealthy level. Some people have.
We had another super chat in there that scrolled kind of up.
Yeah, to BC. I only asked because SJWs say it way too much.
You're right. Yeah, they do. Yeah. They use the bullying thing way too much.
Yeah, if you get past a certain age, now that's not to say that people don't have a right to complain if they're being like mobbed or harassed. Like Tucker Carlson's in the right to complain about people surrounding his house and calling out threats and stuff. That's a little bit different than like somebody just calling you mean words at school or something. But yeah, if you've reached a certain age in life, I'd say past 12, and you're still having problems with breaking down when somebody looks at you sideways, that's probably when you need to start looking to get some help. Let's see.
Another super chat there.
Oh boy, gosh, they're jumping all over the place. Thank you, Cryptic. Nut the slut sounded wrong to add to the list.
Nice.
That sounded wrong next to what, Captain the Spackle or whatever? Okay. Well, Cryptic, you have a very malleable sense of propriety. That's all I got to say. Let's see. Tyler Lalonde says, "Are you getting the Hitman 2 2018 version?" I never played the Hitman 1 2017 version. I haven't played Hitman since Agent 47. So some people really like that stuff. I can never get into it.
I got the 2017 Hitman as part of a Humble Bundle. I still haven't played it. I played the older Hitmans, and I'm not ask Satsu. I'm not a fan of sneaking, which you have to do in so much of that fucking game.
Yeah.
So probably not.
There's a channel I watch a lot that I like. It's called Mini a True Nerd. I've talked about it before. He does these long Hitman mission videos, and this guy loves the whole aspect of like, exploring, planning out how to commit the perfect murder given the circumstances. I like watching him work through it. I know I wouldn't have any fun doing it myself, really. So, yeah. And from all I can tell, it's they're very the last game and this one, they're very well made games, very well thought out, lots of detail, just the ridiculous amounts of background information and little secrets and things that you wouldn't find out unless you walk to this particular spot at this particular time. Obviously, a lot of work and artistry went into those games, and so all the kudos in the world, but it's just not quite my cup of tea. Jean-Pierre, yeah, we talked about the CNN lawsuit. It's ridiculous. I really hope they go through with it and get humiliated, because that'd be funny.
Yeah, they're apparently basing that lawsuit all on one little line of a case from 40 years ago.
And legal cherry picking. Good job.
Yes, and it's not going to work. It's just not, because he has no constitutional right to be in the White House being a dick.
No. Faithless says, "I hate games where I can't sneak." Well,
I'm with you on that too. I mean, there's some games where there's no sneaking. That's like your NPCs see you no matter where you are. You're hidden behind a fucking tree, and bam, they see you.
Right.
Yeah, I get you. I get you on that too.
Let's see.
I don't see why I can't sneak fast though. I've done a lot of sneaking in my time, and you can sneak fast quietly.
Well, you just need to, get your stats up appropriately.
Yeah, fuck that. Take off your shoes. You can sneak pretty well.
Random American says, "Freedom of the press does not mean the press can do whatever the hell they want."
Yep.
That's true. Let's see. Faithless says, "I wish Witcher 3 had sneak." I'll take your word for it. I haven't played a Witcher game. Even though I own the first two I got for super cheap on Steam, I still haven't played any of them. What else?
I tried to play The Witcher 3 and was not successful.
Christine asks, if the intern filed battery charges, do you think CNN would back off? I don't think the CNN would. The intern, I don't think there's enough there to file battery charges.
No. Serenity Lotus, where is the Murder She Wrote town? What, Cabot Cove? It's in Maine. How do you not know about Cabot Cove?
I think it was Polly who suggested people move to Maine when we had that question.
Oh.
There was an article when it was maybe 2 weeks ago that Maine is actually, if you move up there, and they're having a hard time replacing their population. So
because demonic clowns keep eating them.
Well, yeah. You can take all of your student debt off your taxes, and in some cases actually get paid back for it.
What?
Yeah, they're desperate to get young people up there.
God damn. Let's see. Serenity Low says, "Scribe Light, it was a little laugh with Duck Dog about people asking for sightseeing stuff with Stephen King." Yeah, well, Stephen King has tried to turn Castle Rock into his own little Arkham. And he's done a pretty good job of it. I haven't seen the TV show Castle Rock yet. It just looks like one big Stephen King Easter egg show. But
see, that's another reason Matlock is better than Murder, She Wrote. There's no George is not having to beg people to come live there.
Yeah, Murder, She Wrote. I still, to this moment, it was a show you could solve yourself if you were paying attention. Matlock always pulled something out at the last second that was never seen on camera to solve the mystery. Didn't give the audience a chance to participate. That's why I didn't. It's not that I didn't enjoy Matlock. I mean, Andy Griffith was always fun to watch, and Matlock was a fun show to watch. But between the two, I enjoyed Murder, She Wrote better because as an audience member, I could actually sort of vicariously participate and figure. Like I remember watching with my mother. My mother and I would watch that from time to time, and we'd always like try to figure it out before the end of the show. Like find that clue, find that thing that was on camera or somebody said or whatever. And 9 times out of 10, we'd probably catch something before.
I was able to catch the murderer on Matlock many times.
I'm
just saying.
Yeah. Did you catch it because of things that were presented in the show, or
yes,
like here's the guest star that usually plays a villain on all the other TV shows?
No,
there was, I forget what it was. There's a TV show where the guy who played the stepfather, his name I suddenly forget escapes me right now. He was on Lost and everything too. He was one of the guest stars in the show, and I was sitting there with like my mom and my aunt and a couple other people. And as he appeared on the show, I pointed to him and says, "He's the killer." And they're like, "How do you know that?" I said, "I just have a feeling." And I was right. Like, "How did you guess that?" Like, "Oh, I didn't get it. Wasn't a guess. I knew." Jack Gunsky says, "Ever seen the movie Murder by Death?" I've heard of it. I don't think I've seen it. Let's see. Chatmore says, "Yes, don't mock the audience. Allow them to engage and feel competent." Yes, that's how you. That's why that show is such a following. It's like, you could actually solve the murder before Jessica did in the show.
I think people just wanted to bang the old lady.
Well, hey, Angela Lansbury back when she was young, she was an absolute knockout.
She was.
Now Jessica Fletcher, Angela Lansbury. Not really. I'm not quite that much of a gilf lover or nothing. But man,
come on, man, throw some lard on that and go to town.
Young Angela Lansbury, young Betty White. Holy cats!
So this is like random and out of nowhere. But did you guys hear about the episode of CSI they did on incels?
No,
I thought it was SVU
or SVU. I get all those shows mixed up. They're all the fucking same show.
Yeah, somebody posted a video. Detailing that or something. I didn't watch it, so as SVU pull anything out of the headlines, and make a show out of it.
Yeah.
Oh, Dark Lyle asks, what about Columbo with those two? I liked Columbo. I remember watching that as a kid with my mom, and I asked her one time, how come he always lets somebody die before he catches them?
Well, you see, I like Columbo because it was the reverse. You knew who the killer was. You got to watch it. You try to figure it out. My favorite Columbo, actually, there's 2 of them. So they were Columbo mystery movies. It was when they were doing the movies. One of them was, I believe it was Fisher Stevens. And he was this Hollywood executive guy who ended up murdering a rival by booby-trapping something on a Hollywood set. And then Columbo had to sort of work his way through Hollywood and the back lots and stuff trying to solve the murder. The other one was, I think it was Ben Cross. And if you don't know who Ben Cross is, he's a British actor. He's been in a whole bunch of stuff. He played Barnabas Collins in the remake of Dark Shadows in the 90s. Anyway, he played a magician, one of those sort of like David Copperfield types. And he had murdered somebody, and I forget how he did it, but Columbo had to trap him into admitting he was the murderer by solving his magic tricks.
Oh, gotcha.
It was I love those. I watched that one so many times. I should try to see if I can find a copy of that. God, it was so good. Anyway,
earlier somebody asked me if I was planning to take Little Butt and Pumpkin to see Detective Pikachu. No.
Yeah.
Little Butt would probably love it, but I couldn't sit there, and Pumpkin is way too young to take to the movies.
Pumpkin's not too young. Anything until a couple of years from now.
She does seem to like the show Grey's Anatomy.
What, Pumpkin?
Yeah. Her mom watches it, while she's upstairs just hanging out, and you hold her, and she will turn her head and watch the show.
Oh.
Manny likes when I play Monster Hunter.
Are you comparing my children to your lizard?
Yeah.
Okay.
Says, ever seen Cheap Detective? Nope, never seen Cheap Detective.
Never even heard of it.
I know Monkeys likes the Nameless Detective.
Yes, the novels, they're awesome.
Jean-Pierre says, Scribe Light, have you seen Poirot? You mean Hercule Poirot from Agatha Christie, starring David Suchet? Yes, I've seen much Poirot. I even have a book on tape somewhere. It's got a couple of Agatha Christie stories, and one of them is 4 and 20 Blackbirds, narrated by David Suchet because it's a Hercule Poirot story. It was great. Let's see. Oh, and David Suchet was also the evil terrorist guy in Executive Decision with Kurt Russell and John Leguizamo, if you can believe it, back in the day. Or was it Executive Action? Maybe it was Executive Action, something like that. Executive something.
Dargalal says, forgot about him and Miss Marple. Agatha Christie novels were some of the first novels I ever read, and I fucking love them.
10 Little Indians, still great.
Oh, such a good book. Yeah.
It's so good. Let's see. Ulster Scott says, Scribe, did you ever see the British show Inspector Morse? Yes, I saw a couple of those with my... one of the things my mom and I enjoyed watching were mysteries. We watched all of the Jeremy Brent Sherlock Holmes on PBS for, was it either... what was it called? Mystery, on PBS's Mystery. And honestly, I like Benedict Cumberbatch's version of it, but seriously, the best Sherlock Holmes ever put on screen will always be Jeremy Brent. It's just great. But yeah, we saw Detective Morse. I liked Prime Suspect. The first couple seasons of Prime Suspect. The first two seasons of Cracker. And I know that has a connotation in the U.S., but in the U.K. With a Robbie Coltrane. Man, that first episode, well, I guess it wasn't seasons. They don't really do seasons. They do series. But anyway, that first episode of Cracker with Robbie Coltrane, one of the best neo-noir things ever. That first scene where he's in the phone booth and he's putting bets down. You just get this, you get the entire sense of this character before you even know his name. It's so perfect. And the second thing, the second entry, I think it was To Be a Somebody. Back when Christopher Eccleston was like a teenager. Oh, such great TV. Great TV. Let's see. Duck Dog says, the best part of Executive Decision was watching Steven Seagal getting blown out of a plane. Well, you see, here's the thing. Steven Seagal was supposed to be the co-star of that movie. But when they started filming, and this is as the myth goes, he came down with such a horrible case of the flu or something that he couldn't go on. So they wrote him out of the script. So it was this big sort of a fake out. Because when I came to the movies, like Steven Seagal, Kurt Russell, and then he's dead in the first 10 minutes, you're like, oh shit, I don't know what's going to happen next. And it was great, actually. It was actually kind of one of those things where it's like Hollywood pulled one on you and you didn't know what was going to happen. Everybody was vulnerable at that point. Made the movie much better, in my opinion. Let's see. Polydub says, I have the Brett Holmes DVD collection. Scribe Light, he is great. Yeah, no, I mean, you just watching that guy physically evolve or devolve over the course of his doing that show, because Jeremy Brent himself was very sick near the end. You could, I mean, his physical appearance and condition kind of matched a cocaine addict and a shut-in like Holmes really was. I mean, it was great for the TV, but you also knew that in real life, the guy was actually suffering. So anyway. What else? Harvest Marvis. Apparently, CNN is suing the Secret Service agent who took Acosta's badge.
Yep, he's named. There's it's the White House. Sarah Huckabee Sanders, and yeah, the Secret Service agent who actually took it.
Faithless says best airplane hijack movie. Oh, obviously Air Force One. Get off my
definitely.
You know what? I came up with a title for the sequel to that movie. You want to hear it?
Sure.
It's Air Force 1, 2, 3, if by air. You get it?
Oh, dear Lord. I get it.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah.
But then you have to make sure that the bad guy's British.
Well, yeah, exactly. The British are coming. So the bad guy would have to be British. We need Sean Bean. Sean Bean's got to be the bad guy. I don't know who would play the president in this one, but whatever it is, it's got to be like a direct-to-video sequel because nobody's going to put that out in the theaters. So, how about Casper Van Dien as the president?
You know who should be president?
Who?
Wesley Snipes.
Wesley! and oh God, and his code name for the trip is Passenger 57.
Yes.
Oh man, God, what has Wesley Snipes done anything of note? I know he still does movies, but it's always like
Well,
B.
he needs the
Mark.
money to pay off his taxes. So
Oh, taxes, man. Oh God, I think the last movie I know he's done other movies since this, but the last movie I remember hearing about him in was called Grave Walkers. It was this like horror western or something. I think that's what it's called. Oh man, what a fall from grace that guy had. Let's see. Red Castry. Can Sean Bean live through a movie? I had an idea for a movie, and I'm fine if somebody steals this and actually makes it a thing because I'd love to see it. Being John Malkovich.
yeah, I've never watched it though. I know of it.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously, it's a movie that was written. You can't really do it unless you get John Malkovich to do it. I thought up a great movie idea. It's called Human Bean. Okay, and what it is, it's kind of a pseudo documentary or mockumentary. But what it does is it follows around Sean Bean for like a week or something. As an actor, Sean Bean, who is famous for dying in movies. And what it does throughout the course of the movie is you go with him to different sets, playing different characters in different movies, where he has to do his death scene. Like they all happen to be scheduled for like the same week or something. And so it's supposed to be this like meditation on life and existence and death as he sort of prepares for the scene and the character and the situation where he's going to die. And they're all different. And then you have to watch the scene, and it's sort of like I say, it's sort of a meditation on life and death. But you get the different vignettes of different circumstances, like him sacrificing himself to save someone, or him being killed as the villain, or him being the victim of an accident or something like that. You get little, and called Human Being, starring Sean Bean. And if somebody would make that movie, I'd be happy.
Scribe,
yeah.
You should make that movie.
Yeah, well, I'm not much of a screenwriter. What can I tell you? Peter Hades says, have you guys heard the tax incentives some states are offered Amazon to have HQ2 in their areas? Yeah, everybody's bending over for Amazon.
Yeah.
And I guess I think the place they ended up in New York is actually Ocasio-Cortez's borough or district or something. And she's come out publicly against Amazon.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I'm not quite sure what they're going to get, except pushback from trying to do anything in that part of New York if she's the one that's sort of overseeing
Well,
the
she's a congresswoman, so it doesn't matter what she thinks.
That's true too.
I'm sure the state representative and the state senator love having it there because that's jobs. It's lots of jobs.
Jean Pierce says, Scribe, why is it a trope that Steven Seagal does not die in his movies? Well, because except for executive decision, I don't think he ever has. I could be mistaken, but I think in almost all the movies that he's in, he's the hero that lives at the end, kind of thing. Scribe Light, only if he ends up being run over by Mr. Bean. Hey, that could be a scene. Mr. Bean runs over Sean Bean. That'd be great. Let's see. 2 minutes to go, guys. 2-minute warning. So I know I went off on stuff, but when I get somebody brings up Jeremy, or I bring up Jeremy Brent, or somebody brings up a movie I haven't seen in a while, I can just go on forever. I really wish I had some more useful knowledge stuffed away in my head than some of the relatively useless entertainment trivia that I've got. But hey. Let's see. Peter Hades says they're apparently wanting to hire up to 50,000 people. Yeah, 25,000 per location, I think it is. And you want to talk about gentrification? Watch the housing prices in those areas skyrocket over the next 5 years. Just watch. Let's see. Favorite Jeremy Piven movie? Sean?
Who's that?
I'll
look it up.
Yeah. My personal favorite of his is probably PCU. Monkey, he's the salesman slick guy that died in Judgment Night, sorry.
Oh, I know him.
He's the smart ass guy. I'd say PCU just because that's like the most relevant movie to our times these days.
He's not like the main character, but he was in Old School, and I love Old School.
Oh yeah. Well, guys,
such a stupid movie.
It is, but it's funny.
It is.
By the time I finish this, guys, we'll be at the end of the show. So And time has flown. I can't actually believe the show's over with. But hey, Smoking Aces says Duck Dog. Smoking Aces was all right. Buddy Israel. I think that's what it was. Well, guys, thank you so much for coming out to join us as you always do every night. You guys are the best audience on the internet, bar none. Thank you so much for making each one of our nights more interesting than it would be otherwise.
Indeed.
All the stories and the questions and the jokes and everything else. Thank you so much. Thank you, moderators, for keeping an eye on things, even though we have, in relative terms, the best behaved audience on the internet. Thank you, everyone who donated. I really, really do appreciate your generosity. I thank you so much. My Dr. Pepper stock will be filled again for another week or two. And let's see. Other than that, guys, remember tomorrow night, per usual, will be on Monkey's channel, the same showtime. And yeah, I don't know when. I think we're going to try to aim for a 76 outing this weekend once Monkey can get everything downloaded. And
Scribe if you want. While we wait for Monkey to get set up, we can still play. Like,
I gotta go. I gotta go to bed. I got a 4 a.m.
Well, no, not tonight. I mean, you know.
Oh, you mean tomorrow, like before the stream or whatever?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I guess we. I mean, if you want to do a quick stream or something, I'll touch base with you tomorrow after I get home from work. We'll see what's going on.
Yeah, let me know.
Okay. Well, anyway, guys. Yeah. Well, Monkey, Satsu, thank you for joining me as always.
Pleasure.
Your lives make us sad, and we will see you tomorrow.
Bye, guys.
Bye, everybody.
And I won't even, give too much time to it. Today's secret word, perhaps a couple of days late, is Excelsior.